I wasn't joking when I said that if you do have the White Forest Azamina deck, you can absolutely farm and just decimate the field of the Fusion Synchro event. 26,000 medals in, a 90% win rate throughout. I'll go over the deck list at the end of the video if you want to see that, but we're just going to go over some of my matches here, and you can see in the match history, pretty much just Platinum, Master, and Diamond opponents. Yeah, just absolutely crushing it here. It's 2 losses in like, I don't even know, like these last 20 matches or whatever. 1 loss, I think I just resigned as soon as I saw a normal summon, what do you call it, Sea Mare, because I had no hand traps, and I was like, yeah, if you're going to do full tournament combo on me, I'm just probably going to lose anyways. And 1 match I did get blown out by a TG deck going second as well. But I'll show you some of these wins, so let's go ahead and jump in and just show you how dominant this deck is. And a lot of these matches are going second. Alright, so the first one here I'm going to show you is going first. I did lose the coin toss 4 times in a row prior to this, but all of those matches, like one of them the opponent bricked. I lost the one against the TG that went 7 rounds. And like the other ones I guess were just like non-meta really, so I was able to still win going second. This one here I'm going to show you the combo going first, what you can do. So we start off with the Duel, start sending Nibiru, since, you know, going first we hopefully won't need Nibiru since we're going to be able to set up a board, and we won't want to Nibiru our own board anyways. We do end up having the call by for the Ash, and if you can like call by the Ash or just negate the Ash or bait the Ash and set up your main play, you're basically going to go full combo and you play through Disruption anyways. We still have the cross out though for like an opposing Nibiru, so we can definitely be a little bit more greedy here. And, you know, not need to put up our negates too early. And so that's what you're seeing us do here. Wait a while, go for the LZ Azamina to get the Synchro and the Surge off of it. The Duel, Queen of the White Forest, recurs the Called by the Grave. That is so broken. So I'll have a Called by set up for my opponent's turn as well as an interruption. We're now going to go ahead and do the Chain Wanted to the Hollowed, send both the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest and the Wanted Seeker to bring out the Saint Azamina. Banish the Wanted Seeker, put back the Sinful so that we draw a card. I didn't even see what we drew into. Don't tell me we drew into an Effect Veiler, because that would be insane. We drew Effect Veiler. So we drew an Interruption, which is a 1 of in the deck, by the way, because sometimes you do search this off the Rusia. I think there may be a match where I show that off. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and use Saint Azamina to bring out the Ilsylvia. And so this is just an extra layer of disruption, right? If you watch my previous videos, you know this. This is the combo we consistently set up. Omni Negate. The opponent can't target their own cards in like anywhere, field, banishment, graveyard. Omni Negate number 2, Call by Interruption, Cross out Interruption, Veiler Interruption, and then the Duel can bring out the Book of Eclipse, Silvera. So opponents are likely not breaking this. You usually want to save your Omni Negates for power spells, things like Triple Tactics Talents and whatnot. Let your opponent resolve whatever they have and just interrupt their key engine play. So this Moye, I will use the Veiler on it, saving my Baron and my Sylvia here. They chain call by, and I'll use cross out to negate the call by, which does turn off my own call by, but that's okay. Seeing that they're on Sword Soul, I shouldn't need the call by, and again, I've already run through a lot of the opponent's cards. As I mentioned, saving the Omni Negate for the power spells, negating the Triple Tactics Talent here. Props to the opponent for staying in. They pitched their last card in the Den Long. I'm going to chain the Duel since it does have to be activated in response to a card effect, and this will bring out the Silvera, so when the Sword Soul Long Yang resolves, the token comes on board, then new chain link happens, Silvera will flip the field face down, and I'll trigger the LZ to come back to hand, and just like that, the opponent can't Synchro, and that's going to be a GG. Again, you can't blame the guy, the White Forest Azamina deck, so broken, going first. So after losing 4 coin flips in a row, winning the last match that I just showed you, we lose this coin flip, but Big Mike got balls of steel here in letting us go first. So I'm like, okay, he's probably on like Lava Golems and Board Breakers and stuff like that, but I have no idea what deck they're on. They're going to go ahead and chain Perulia after I summon the Sylvie. And so they don't get a draw off of the normal summon, which is good. But, you know, the White Forest deck does summon a lot from hand. And this card and the Fuolos are both very good against White Forest. So I have to really alter my plays here. I do end up summoning the LZ and then using the Deception to pitch the LZ of the White Forest, summoning the LZ Azamina, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to go for this play and give the opponent an extra draw here. They do Soraneer, the LZ that I pitched, though, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. We shouldn't need to summon from hand if we don't want to for the rest of this duel. We're not going to go for the Rusia play. So you're going to see how we play around the Perulia here. So yeah, we reset the Sinful, shuffle back the LZ Azamina, bring back the Hollowed, activate Hollowed, chain Wanted, and grab the Diabell Star, reveal the Saint Azamina, send both of the Sinful Spoil spells to go for the Saint Azamina. So once again, you can see what we're able to bring out here. Because we are unable to do the extension play where we summon from hand, we don't end up setting up the Diabell plus the Baron. And because the opponent already extended with the Soronir, I'm guessing maybe they're on branded or something, I'm going to actually use Chen Ying here when I banish the Wanted Seeker to put back the Sinful. I'm going to draw into an Effect Veiler again. Like, are you kidding? That's twice in a row I've drawn Effect Veiler off of a Sinful Wanted Seeker, Sinful Spoils. But we banish the Molchami Perulia from grave, and we banish the Soronir from the field, meaning the opponent does not get the search of this going off to graveyard, which is great here. I go for the Moa Regina, which honestly I probably shouldn't have. I should have gone for the Omni Negate since I didn't have a Baron. But I play it greedy and say, like, yeah, bring back the Rusiliago, and then use it to send for the Diabell Star. Set up a full field of back row, which is, again, stupid because the opponent made me go first. They're probably on, like, Duster and stuff. But no, they're on branded. So they pitch the Despian Tragedy for the opening and go for the Aluber, and then Aluber effect to search for a branded spell or trap. And even if they already have branded fusion, I'm still going to imperm this because I do not want them setting up branded lost. So I'm totally fine in imperming this. They search for Dramaturge, a card that you don't really see anymore. Then they Raigeki my board, which is absolutely nuts here. So I lose everything. But yeah, they should have maybe done that in a different order so that I wouldn't be able to... Oh, I guess it wouldn't matter, right? Oh yeah, no, because then now I can trigger the Chen Ying in order to banish the opening or the Tragedy. Probably the Tragedy, right? Yeah, Tragedy and the Aluber. So the one of Aluber in this event, not going to come back whenever I destroy a fusion monster, which is good. And then the Tragedy being banished as well, since it already used one effect when it was pitched off the opening, doesn't get the ability to banish itself next turn and bring back a branded fusion. The opponent normal summons Albaz, pitches an Ash Blossom. I'm going to attempt to fuse with my Chen Ying here, and I can't stop it. Oh yes, I can with the Effect Failure. So I opt to do that instead of using the Sinful Spoils. But the opponent has a Super Poly anyways, pitching their last card to go for a Hail Mary Mirajade, pitching the Albion, the Branded Dragon. So they're going to have some follow-up set up for next turn. But the Branded in red can really only bring back the Albaz and fuse with the Mirajade. So I'm not too worried. In the end phase, we are going to trigger the Woes and bring out the Sylvie, which is going to get us a Tails for, again, just full extension next turn. We draw into Diabell Star, which is okay. Start off by bringing back the Hollowed Azamina. The opponent's already used the banish of the Mirajade, right, by pitching the Albion, so we don't have to worry about Mirajade banish right now. We're going to activate Deception and then go for the Hollowed into the Mirusiliago, grab out the Azamina Afts because it's the only Azamina card I think I have left since I already have LZ Azamina. Synchro into the Baron here, so now I have the negate for the branded in red if I wanted. Search out the Estelar because, again, like I mentioned, or I will mention in the deck profile, this is the only time where you really want to go for a Stellar when you know that you have no disruption to worry about here. So I'm going to actually let this resolve, I guess, which is strange. They go for Titanclad, and I end my... Oh, I know what was happening in this match. I was playing on my phone, and I was in a car wash line, and I had to, like, activate the car wash, so I had to switch between apps to activate the car wash. So you see me like not negate the branded fusion, which would have won me the game here because I'm switching between apps and I'm low on time. Yeah, don't do that if you're me. And then I end up negating the branded retribution. So yeah, I'm just being silly here, obviously. So don't do this. But yeah, the match was played decently well up to this point, as you can tell. Like I could have just negated branded fusion and won the game. But regardless here, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and clean up the game at this point. The opponent was pretty much on nothing. They're going to chain branded opening to protect the destruction from the Baron, but it doesn't really matter. Get back Hollowed, activate Hollowed, reveal Moa Regina, and just trigger the Moa Regina off of a Sinful Spoils activation here, which will pop the Titanclad now, and then bring back the Rusiliago, and then just attack for game. No, nothing fancy, because I was low on time. I was in the car wash at this point. Like, my car was being washed. So, yeah. Ended up cleaning up that game quite easily. Alright, so in this one, I lose a coin toss again, open up triple Sylvie and a Stellar with nothing to send off of it, and a Diabell Star. The opponent starts off with normal summon Seamare, and I just scoop because I'm not sitting through a Tear Element combo that I have no interruptions for, and so I take an L on that one. Alright, well, another one where we lose the coin toss here. Opening hand, though, we do have Ash and a Druis Worm. The opponent starts off with a Foolish Burial. Even though they're not on 60 cards, unlike the last video I made where they were on 60 cards, and I'm like, let me ash that. I still ash the Foolish. They do have a fusion deployment though, but they're forced to go for a bit of an awkward play and using the Cartesia to fuse with Albaz in hand, losing a lot of card advantage here just to get this Granugol on the field. They're going to trigger Granugol and send the Albion, the Shrouded Dragon, which will allow them to pitch a Branded Retribution and put itself back into the deck. Special summon out the Spriggan's Kit, grab a Branded Fusion, put back their last card. Now they're only on Branded Fusion. And they go for an Albion play, and I'm like, okay, this is awkward for you because you're going to want to go for the Bestial Lubellion. I will Druisworm that, and then you're going to have to fuse away your Granugol, which will take away this disruption. So no sense in Druisworming early here. Wait for them to banish this because that's likely what they're going to have to do if they want to set up Mirror Jade. Sure enough, that is what they do. Go into the Mirror Jade here, and then on the resolution, so toggle on here, banish the Lubellion, which is limited to 1 in this event, so that they can't tribute the Albion, leaving it on field potentially to be banished. So all I have to play through is one Mirror Jade, which hopefully is going to be manageable here. I normal summon Sylvie. They don't end up banishing anything. I'm going to go into a Baron to floor, and I know that I'm going to use up a lot of my interruption here in order to get around this Mirror Jade send of the Rinbrum, but I have LZ with the tails that I was able to search off the Sylvie, which is going to be full combo. Sure, get Branded Retribution, try to trigger your Rinbrum to... I don't even think you can summon the Mirror Jade yet because the chain resolves. Or I guess after, the Albaz will be on the new chain link, so the Mirror Jade will be off the field. But I'm going to call by the Rinbrum anyways. Yes, the Mirror Jade will get destroyed now by my Baron, negate and destroy, and then Mirror Jade will trigger in the graveyard to wipe my field during the end phase, but I plan to win the game this turn because like I said, LZ plus Tails is basically OTK if you know your opponent has no interruptions. Now we've played through their interruptions, I can clean up this field pretty easily and go from there. I haven't used my Baron pop yet, by the way, right? Because I used the Synchro Druisworm send to target the Mirror Jade to force it out and then Baron negate. So I can still pop Kit and then banish the Albion somehow with like a Chaos Angel if I wanted to. And yeah, you're just going to see full combo here. We go into Silvera because I don't have a spell to send off the Resilia, so no point in going for that. And I did want to go for a White Forest card so I can bring back a tuner to go for the Chaos Angel when I go for the Mu Resiliago off of the Hollowed Azamina fusion here, which is exactly what we do. Bring back Sylvie and then go into the fusion. Fusion effect to search the Wanted Seeker, activate Hollowed, return the LZ Azamina, bring itself back, and then Synchro. Okay, pop Kit, and then Synchro into Chaos Angel, banish the Albion. So all they have is a Mirror Jade wipe at the end phase, which does still trigger and will wipe my board through a Chaos Angel, by the way, because it's not an activated effect at this point. It's just like an effect that's being applied at the end phase. So keep that in mind. It doesn't matter though, because we're going to win the game. So all of these, the Omni Negate that I put on board here in the Ilsylvia will actually not save me against the Mirror Jade, I'm pretty sure. But it might have, I don't know. I guess we'll never know because I won the game before anything was going to happen anyways. Alright, we win a coin toss and are going to opt to go first. We got Sylvie, we got Diabellstar, and we've got Tails. So we've got Starter, Extender, and yep, the Imperm comes through on the Sylvie, and I'm like, okay, that's one. I can eat that with the Sylvie. The summon of the Diabellstar makes the opponent scoop. Sure. GG's. I think this was a Master 1 player too, yeah. So, like, you know, they know what was coming. Why sit through it if they know they can't break the board? All right, back to losing coin tosses. For every one coin toss we win, it seems like we lose 2 to 3 more, but that's okay. We've got a Fubulos, an Ash, and a Bestial Magnamut as our interruptions. We're going to Ash the Lubellion on the opponent's side here because them searching a Bestial would be very disruptive to my combo. They already have the Branded Regain though. They're going to Stellar send that Branded Regain to special summon from the deck. I'm going to chain Fubulos. And this is, yeah, another Master player here. They're playing into that Fubulos. They're going to go ahead and search Woes, which is good. I mean, they can just end on set Woes and Book of Eclipse my field, but I do have the Super Poly as a board breaker and a starter in the Sylvie, which is great here. They're going to continue to summon and attempt to set up some kind of board here. I've lost track of what they have, but I was keeping track during the match, obviously. I think they brought back a spell, and that's maybe all they have, so I don't have to fear too much disruption. They search out Sinful Spoil Subdual, which is going to be able to bring out a Diabell's usually, which will force me to set cards, which will play around my Super Poly here. But I think I interrupted an effect with the Magnamut. Yeah, they attempted to bring back the Sylvie, probably to go for a Baron here. And then I chain Magnamut to banish the Diabell. So then not only do I banish the Diabell, I stop the Sylvie from coming back in for them to go into a Baron. They set 3. I know one is a Deception, and I don't even remember what the other ones are. I search for a second Druid Swarm there in the end phase and pass turn. Or sorry, they pass turn over to me. I draw into a Rusia, so I got like full starter combo here. They're going to go ahead and summon a Sylvie, which won't be able to do anything. Well, I mean, they can search with it, but they can't Synchro because the timing for woes has passed now, and they don't have a White Forest Synchro that they can go into. So as expected, Sinful Spoils of Duel goes into the Diabels here. They search out a Sinful Spoils of the White Forest off of the Sylvie. My Stellar is going to send the Azamina Apps Trap card that was drawn off of the Molcharmi, I believe, to bring out a Sylvie for free. And man, when you resolve a Stellar, like, it's just over. Like, you have no more disruption here. I know that, I think the last card now at this point was the Resets Sinful Spoils Deception. We're going to go into a Baron. Was it that? I'm pretty sure it was. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, they just scoop once they realize, like, again, like, you can't play into a Fulos in this format if you're playing good opponents. Like, you give White Forest gas, they're just going to plow through your board. So you just have to end on disruption, basically. Like hand trap disruption. So this format really is about holding your interruptions for the right time. So once again, opening up a Fulos, a Druid Swarm, and an Infinite Impermanence with one starter in the Sylvie. The opponent starts off with Dragon Keeper, pitching a Predaplant card that has an effect when it's sent to the graveyard. So what I do here is I chain the Druid Swarm to the effect of the Keeper. Because this card is sent for cost, it will resolve on a new chain link, not the current chain link that Keeper is on. So if I Druid Swarm it now, it will not have a chance to start a new chain link and resolve itself, and then I imperm the Keeper. So my opponent goes basically -2, a dead Keeper, and they lose their Predaplant card. And the reason I do this is because they were thinking for like 30 seconds to a minute, and I was like, if you're thinking that hard about your first play, you probably don't have that great of a hand to like go off with. So I'm going to slow you down here significantly and see if you have the answers to it. Yes, this does turn off my Fulos, but I was willing to take that risk, and the opponent, sure enough, just scoops before the chain even resolves. All right, so we lose this coin toss once again, and yeah, we've got an imperm, and that is it for the disruption. The opponent starts off with an Upstart Goblin, and I was like, am I in the Legend Anthology event? Is this guy on Exodia? But they're on some kind of runic variant, and imperm is really all you need, because yeah, imperm here shutting down the Hugin because Fountain is at 1. I know they don't have Fountain in hand, so either they have Tip or they're just not on Fountain. We stop the Hugin, they set 3, which is likely, you know, a couple of more runics and stuff maybe. But yeah, they're down bad at this point. I draw into a Sylvie, thankfully, which turns my hand online. I search out Sinful Spoils, activate Tails, grab the LZ, which can then send woes, or can send any of these 3, right? Because they all have recursion abilities. Summon it, and the opponent just is like, yeah, full White Forest combo. They probably don't have enough interruption to stop it. They just scoop it up. I mean, at this point, I should show you some more matches going first and how I play through disruptions, but I haven't been winning all that much in terms of the coin tosses. I mean, I'm winning matches, but like I keep losing coin tosses. I don't know if the game like is trying to make me lose, but like, I mean, you know, just have me not draw any hand drops, I guess, like what happened in that tier limit match where I just scooped on turn 0. I'm going to chain Fubulos to the branded opening, which is likely going to force the opponent to bring the card to hand and not summon it here. They pitch tier limit Sullik, and I'm like, well, I have a Druid Swarm against the tier limit deck, so I can actually like play here if they get like, you know, a combo going. They bring the tier limit, Kashtira to hand, but they don't opt not to summon it. And I'm like, okay, they have Brand Fusion hard open. They go for the Albion the Sanctifier. And I'm like, okay, that's perfect because my Druid Swarm will shut that down when they go for the Albaz, which is, you know, obviously their play has been tamed because they don't want to extend into the Molcharmi. So that's good, right? They go for a draw 1. My Molcharmi was an Upstart Goblin, basically, and they have an Albion the Sanctifier Dragon as a disruption during my turn, plus potential mill 3. Well, yeah, they do have a mill 3 because the Teal Limits Kashtira can banish Sullik, summon itself for free, basically. Mill 3, they might get an interruption off that. I do want to save the Druid Swarm for the activation of the Sanctifier, though, so I probably let a Fusion resolve if they do get it off of the Teal Limits Kashtira, plus they might have Ash and other stuff in hand. We draw into another LZ, I think, there, which isn't great, but that's fine. We're going to start with normal summon Sylvie. Does the opponent have Veiler? Clearly no Imperm, or Ash, I guess, but no, they don't. Once they see what deck I'm on, they're going to trigger the Teal Limits Kashtira. Let's see what the Gamba pulls off for them. They get a brightest blazing branded king, and then 2 bricks. Well, not bricks, but like non-good mills, not good mills. So this is good for me. No interruption there. I can save my Druid Swarm that I was likely going to save anyways. Go for the LZ once I see that my Sylvie resolves. Send what I search. So I don't send Tails to give my opponent more information here. I send what I search, and the Sinful Spoils reset itself, and then activate LZ Azamina. Use LZ and the Sylvie to go into Resilia, and Resilia will now send the Tails after I activate the Azamina on the first chain link to chain block with the Resilia here, because I do want to bridge into my Sinful Spoils Deception, or I guess you can say the Azamina engine with the fusions here. So Tails will reset itself. I search for Azamina apps, which is okay. Yes, because here I'm going to search for the Hollowed Azamina. So on the activation of Deception, they're going to chain Sanctifier to target Ash and the Albaz, and then again, like I said, saving the Druid Swarm for that, banish the Albaz, meaning that I don't think the Sanctifier will resolve. They just scoop on that resolution, and that's a GG. All right, this is the final match of the video, and we finally win a coin toss again and are going to go first. The opponent here, I'm just going to let you know now, on 50 cards, has no interruption for me. So I'm going to be able to show you what a full combo looks like. I start with Deception because I want to bait out the Ash. I'd rather get Ashed here than on the LZ because I'd rather keep my White Forest engine alive if I can. I have 3 spells that reset themselves, or sorry, 2 spells that reset themselves and the Wanted Seeker already in hand. You're going to see the greediest combo that I go for. Of course, I could have set up the Omni Negate early, but then I would end on a weaker board. But that would have been safer to play through Nibiru. This line plays into Nibiru, but I would still be able to set up something through the Nibiru anyway. So that's why I was confident in setting and going this route and playing into the Nibiru before I set up an Omni Negate. But I didn't care. I mean, I was winning so much. I was like, whatever, I'll just take the risk because the board I can set up here is going to be crazy. You're going to see it. So yeah, Resilia into the LZ Azamina. You've already seen this before. Go for the Diabel. And this Diabel, bringing back the Hollowed here, because I have so many Sinful Spoils cards in rotation, I'm going to actually be able to use the Hollowed Azamina 3 times. And so that means I'm going to get every single Azamina fusion in rotation. It's going to be crazy. So go ahead and bring out the Sylvie by putting back the Resilia here. And now we go into our Baron Omni Negate on field, and we have the Diabel interruption as well to bring out the Book of Eclipse Silvera. Go ahead and activate another Deception and activate Hollowed Azamina to bring out Il Sylvia. So now we've got double Omni Negates. Activate the Hollowed Engrave to put back LZ Azamina, bring itself back. Activate it again, and then chain the Wanted Seeker to search for the Diabel Star. Send 2 to bring out the Saint Azamina. We're going to send the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest and the Wanted Seeker here. Bring out the Saint Azamina, and then Saint Azamina is going to bring out the Moa Regina here. And then Moa Regina is going to be able to bring out the Mu Rusiliago from the graveyard. Activate Wanted Seeker. No need to trigger the Moa Regina since the opponent has nothing on field. Draw into an Esteller. Send the Mu Rusiliago to grave to trigger the Diabel Star to set up the Sinful Spoils, which again will trigger the Moa Regina and will be a Guardian Chimera during my opponent's turn for another pop 2 and draw. And I can just, fuse with the Esteller and like the Diabel Star, which can then resend any card and resummon itself during my opponent's turn. And then probably send what I summon off Diabel. So it's just free materials for the Guardian Chimera if I need to make it. And I have an Effect Veiler for my opponent, which I believe I searched off the Resilia. One instance where we did end up searching it. The opponent doesn't even bother because they're like, what the hell is this? How am I supposed to play through this? I don't know. I don't know. If you're not on like multiple Lava Golems and stuff, yeah, just like, oh, and they didn't have the DD Crow. DD Crow on the Hollowed Azamina would have been crazy. But yeah, we just play through whatever they have there. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let's go ahead and take a look at the deck list. So very quickly here, I've tweaked this a few times, but this is the build that works well enough for me. I've thought about dropping the Fuwaloses for 2 Ghost Bells. So just put in 2 Ghost Bells, take out 3 Fuwalos, then you're on an even 40. But, there are instances where this card is helpful. Plus, you can send it off Diabel Star and or Deception. So it's not a completely dead card. It still has utility, which is why this deck is so good, is because you can turn your dead cards into engine off of the sends that you get good value from Black Witch and Deception. Anyways, 1 Effect Veiler, which, again, you saw us search in that last match. 1 Esteller. Again, this is the card that you will only go for when you know it's absolutely safe. It's definitely not worth risking being greedy because 1 interruption, shutting this card down, usually will shut down your turn. So I never really go for this unless I absolutely have to or unless I know it's safe. If you resolve this card, which I think I did in one of my matches there I showed you, like you win the game. Like it's just like this card, it just sets up like too much. It's crazy. 3 Elzat, the best starter in my opinion, because it's the safest to normal summon to one of 3 Sylvies that you can search off of it. 1 Elzat Azamina, since it is searchable again, no need to play more right now. Triple Ash Blossom, 1 Rusia, you only need 1. You'll sometimes search this as an extender for more synchro plays. You'll rarely use its send and draw ability unless you really need to, but you're better off sending your traps and or spells for the Azamina fusions if you can, right? Because you're usually sending the Sinful Spoil stuff. Triple Fuelos, I play a Bestial package here. You saw how clutch this was in certain scenarios because it does help in the mirror matches and against the branded piles. It's just proven to be really good. Plus it's a 6. And it helps make a Light and Dark Chaos Angel. It also helps make a Baron. It helps make a Chen Yang, right? Like, you get free send off of the Druid Worm, and then you get a Baron Omni Negate, right? Like, if you synchro with it, it's just, the value is insane. These being level 4 synchros and being light, just like, it's so powerful. Like, it's crazy. Anyways, 3 Diabell Star, it's a combo starter. Of course, you play 3. It's an extender. Of course, you play 3. Double Nibiru. You know, it's a card that helps shut down a lot of the rogue decks, keeps them in check, can force your opponent into awkward plays if they're trying to play around it, if they kind of think that you have it. I liked it. I think it worked out well. I upped the ratio of tails from when I first started. I was doing well with 1, but what I noticed was you can't bridge from Azamina into White Forest. You can bridge from White Forest into Azamina. So more ways to turn on your White Forest engine is good, because if your Diabell Star gets stopped, let's say, like say they impermit, so you don't set the deception, or they Ash Deception, you can still activate a Tails because you have a spellcaster on board, and then go into your White Forest engine and your White Forest synchro play, so you still can set up combo, which is why I wanted more of these starters. Like, yes, it's technically a brick if you don't draw the card to make this card live, like an Illusion or Spellcaster, but again, this card can be turned live off of Azamina. So like this White Forest card makes your Azamina engine bridge into your White Forest engine, whereas without it, you would have no bridge. And this is a White Forest card, so it's still technically like not bridging Azamina cards technically, but because Azamina is illusion, you are able to do it when you fusion summon. Speaking of which, 1 Hollowed Azamina. Yeah, I don't know if people are going to start playing DD Crow to combat this, but I mean, the card is crazy. 3 Deception. I think you still play 3. I know there's cases to be made to play like 1. But just you want to maximize your chances of seeing this card because it is so powerful. I you know, obviously 3 has been working for me. 1 Super Poly. Again, I experimented without this card early, but this card in this format, in this event, is just too good. Especially since if you are in the White Forest mirror match, this card will single-handedly win you games. I have a video clip showing how I Super Poly'd like a Centurion board into a Saint Azamina, which brought out like a Moa Regina, I think it was, which ended up popping 2 cards on the field. And it just like, or was going to pop 2 cards on the field, and my opponent didn't resign. So it's just like, if you resolve Super Poly, it's usually instant win against any deck, especially a deck that puts up Fusion and Synchros, which is, again, what this event is. Like, it's crazy. Like, they custom made this event for White Forest Azamina, obviously. Double Called by, 1 Crossout Designator. Again, just these very powerful, I don't want to call them blowout cards, but like they kind of are. You know, shutting down a key interruption that your opponent was saving, and then just being able to recur it back. Like, there was a match I showed you where I reoccurred the Call by the Grave. Like, that is just like mind-blowing. Like, Diabell, like, what? Bring back a spell or a trap for free? Like, sure. Imagine, like, well, I mean, Talents is once per turn, but yeah, like things like Talents and stuff too, like crazy. Anyways, I mean, we're not playing Talents, not that it's needed. 1 Wanted Seeker, of course. 1 Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. This is a card, I mean, if you watched those matches and you really paid attention, you saw a lot of times I was searching this card over some other things, because this card facilitates that insane end board with the Saint Azamina, and you don't necessarily always need to go for the obvious search Wanted Seeker. You have other ways to search that later on in your combo. Getting the extra Sinful Spoils cards into rotation, and this card being a card that can reset itself, gets you extra value, right? Because you send this off of like a White Forest card, you extend, so you get free extension, you reset this card, then it becomes basically fusion material for the Hollowed Azamina. So yeah, super powerful extension plays with this card. And then I didn't even summon Guardian Chimera once with it. It was just used as a utility spell. But you also have that backup to be a Guardian Chimera during your opponent's turn if you really need to. Triple infinite impermanence, of course. 1 woes. I debated cutting this, but when you get interrupted or you get Fuwalosed, being able to search this card off of like a Sylvie or something and setting it and having a Book of Eclipse interruption for your opponent's turn, in addition to like, let's say, the Ash or Nibiru in your hand, etc., is just an additional layer of interruption that allows you to play around Fuwalosed, so it's not necessarily all that bad to play 1 of. Plus, it's a reset off of the Send, so it's also good for that. And then the Azamina Apps. I don't think I showcased it in this video, but there are other videos on my channel where I just showed how this card was just like insanely broken. On an alt account, which I have this same deck on, I ended up like pushing back 4 cards against a Melodious player, and just like this card just like OTK'd them. It was crazy. But yeah, really good card. Again, a free send and reset. But 41 in total. There's a couple cards you could opt to cut, like I said, if you wanted to make it a straight 40, but this list, obviously, as you've seen from my match history, very, very effective. As for the extra deck, Moodragon and Garua as your Super Poly targets, the Azamina package in Il Sylvia, Rusiliago, Moa Regina, and Saint Azamina, the 1 of Guardian Chimera for the target of Sinful Spoils of the White Forest. 1 Coral Dragon as your Tuner Synchro that you could summon through, just Synchro summoning and then sending it off for like a Diabell or for a Baron to get a draw. If you don't want to go into one of your White Forest Synchros, like say if you have no spells to send off for Cilia and you don't really want to go into Silvera, you can get a free redraw off Coral. And then, not that you'd ever really summon this off of the Diabell trigger to summon a card, you'd always summon the Silvera. But that's why I opted for Coral Dragon. It came up a few times, maybe in matches I didn't show, but yeah, it was okay. Like, I don't think you really need to play things like the level 2 tuner, the Formula Synchron and things like that, just because you don't really want to Synchro away your Diabell and you're probably setting up the Baron de Fleur anyways. Going for Silvera is like 99.9% of the time the best thing you're going to do off of the Diabell anyway, so I don't really see like going into a Formula Synchron to then go into a Chaos Angel being all that beneficial. Book of Eclipse is just way more powerful. 1 Resilia, 1 Psyframe Lord Omega as my alternative Synchro 8. I didn't opt to stick with the Visas and Reframing package, which, is still a strong package, but hard drawing this card, especially since you're not on 60 cards, like you're going to draw this or see this card more often, just hurts a lot. So, sometimes going for Psyframe, get back a banish card, can put back your Wanted Seeker during your opponent's turn, and then in their main phase, banish a card from their hand. Right, if you get a key card banished, it can put it back during your opponent's standby phase as well. Never came up, but it's in there. Why not? The Diabell, this is your like Synchro 8 that you're going to always go into, and same with Baron. And then you saw me go into a Chen Ying, I think maybe once or twice, and then a Chaos Angel just for, whenever you need it. It can help protect your whole board from battle, so keep that in mind. Protect your Synchros like your Diabell, so ensure that it's likely going to resolve and is unaffected by activated monster effects. So that's the deck list, and those are the matches. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Let me know how you've been doing in the Synchro Fusion event. But yeah, this event, like you saw, we were absolutely destroying it here. 26,000 medals. Finished my Duel pass, right? Got all the rewards from it. Pretty easy event with White Forest Azamina.